Well, we hope you enjoyed the chapter on being a better human capital developer. The rule for being a human capital developer is to build the next generation. 5 ways a human capital developer can build the next generation. The first is to map the workforce. Let's look at what are the competencies we need in the future that are different from the competencies that we need today, given our attrition and given capital investments that we might be making that will change the dynamics of the workforce. The second is to create a firm and employee brand. Why are employees going to be attracted to coming to this organization? The third is we have to help people manage their career. This has to be seen as a place where somebody can come, and when they come here, they can learn and grow and develop and become a better professional, become a better leader, this is a place where we can learn things and do things together that are different than what I can do in other places. The fourth thing that a human capital developer does is find and develop the next generation of talent. And the fifth is to encourage people to have relationships and networks. So the overriding question for the human capital developer is to be able to identify what's different about the next generation of talent than the current generation of talent, and figure out ways to bridge the gap between, from a competency perspective, from what we've got today to what we need for the future tomorrow. One of the tools that we find very useful for human capital developers is some work that we've adapted from Gene Dalton and Paul Thompson, who published a book in the mid-1980s called Novations, Strategist for Career Management. In our adaptation, what we need to understand as human capital developers is what are the key changes that people have to make, both psychologically, competencies, knowledge, and behaviors as they move through the development pipeline. So people come into the organization as learners. They have to come in and take direction about how they can contribute to the organization. Over a period of time, most of these people move to the next level. The next level is what we call the master. So they have mastery of a technical area. These are the individual contributors who tend to be pretty competitive with each other about being the best. Some of these people remain individual contributors for the rest of their career. Others move up the development pipeline on the technical side and become mentors. As mentors, they lead and guide other people in their technical work and are able to contribute more than one person could do alone. So they get leverage on their technical area. Others go onto a management track. And on the management track, they become managers, supervisors, and they have formal positions of authority to make things happen and get things done. Again, in some organizations, which are usually more technology-intensive organizations, people can stay on the technical side and go to one more level of contribution and value. This is what we call the define role. In these roles, you have idea leaders who actually begin to define a technical field for a whole generation of people. If your organization happens to be one in which the technology that these people are defining the thought leadership for is relevant to your organization, they become hugely important because you can develop products and services and technologies and so on that have the leadership of these technical thought leaders. Others become senior executives in a different way. They become directors who are sponsoring key people, who shift from influence that you would see as a coach or an idea leader or even as a manager or supervisor, and actually are using power on behalf of the organization. So one of the important frameworks that human capital developers can use is this logic of how do people and what specifically do people need to do differently as they move to different stages in their development pipeline. I'd like to introduce you to the tool for the human capital developer. You'll see 6 statements, each representing a development stage in our talent pipeline. Your task is to pick which of those statements best describes where you see yourself developmentally today. The second part of your assignment then is to look at your job and to compare the expectations of your job with that developmental stage that you've placed yourself at. Ask yourself, is there a fit or is there a misalignment between the expectations for my job and the development stage that I'm in?